Hello everybody, San here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, we are talking about the latest press release from Vertex. And of course, this is for their CASGEVY program, which of course is in collaboration with the CRISPR company, CRISPR Therapeutics, stock symbol CRSP. And this article was just published throughout this week here, later this week. In fact, it was just basically on Friday there, right before the long weekend. We got some good news here. So it is a good news type of video. But before we do that, before we jump into today's video, I think some of you have noticed this is the first YouTube video in like 2 months or something. I think I made one like in late May or maybe early June, and then I hadn't made one. Yeah, guys, I've just been busy, just got a couple of things on my plate, and also news sort of stalled for a couple of weeks there. Not just, it didn't really start just in May or June. It actually started before then. But also I wanted a quick break on my end. I think it just, I don't think it was sustainable. And I told myself, you know what, why don't I just take a couple of weeks off? And obviously 1 week became 2 weeks, 2 weeks became 4 weeks, 4 weeks became 8 weeks. So here we are here. I made a poll on X.com and I got, 80% of people said, yeah, you should start making videos again. So because that poll was about whether or not I should make CRISPR videos. So here we go. That's the first video in over 2 months. I don't know if I'll be making I'm going to try to make one video a week here as news ramp up. I'll probably make another video tomorrow only because we have the long weekend here in Canada. So I have more time here. So probably another video tomorrow. But here we go. Let's start with today's video. So this is big news, guys. I mean, this is something a lot of people have been sort of looking forward for. I've been looking forward for. We know that in November, the UK approved CASGEVY from Vertex and CRISPR Therapeutics. We know that, of course, the FDA approved it just over a month later. In mid-December, the FDA approved it for the first time ever, a CRISPR-based therapy, of course, same program, CASGEVY. Now, over the months, we got a couple of other countries enrolled, Bahrain, and we got, Saudi, we got other countries there, and Europe, of course. And what we got is a couple of other news like treatment centers. We got some press release from that. And the quarterly earnings reports, we got some words on, ATCs as they call them. I think it's ATC. I think that's the acronym, treatment centers. I forgot what the A means. But anyways, it's beside the point. The point here is that we got some news here, and it is the following. Aside from reaching eligible patients, the company is working to get approved treatment centers up and running. Vertex looks to activate 75 across the globe and is making progress on that front. We're currently more than 35 inactive, so that would put them over 110, if my math is correct there, of treatment centers, right? We're looking at other things here. Treatment center and cell collection stats have swelled over just past 3 months. In April, the company, of course, Vertex, strong progress in treatment center activation with 25 under its belt at the time. So, of course, a lot of things have happened. They got 25 to 35 currently active, so 10 more, and now eyeing for 70 additional ones. The full year consensus of $54 million just on that drug, right? Just on that specific CASGEVY program. 54 million, which, it's not that bad, but obviously it's just a start. Actually more relevant to this video, actually, they actually disclosed that they have 20 patients that begun the treatment journey since the program was approved, around November, December, right? So 20 patients. I think if I remember, there was one interview like 2-3 years ago. Again, this was a while ago, and again, these are just ballpark numbers. But Dr. Sam, CEO and still CEO of CRISPR Therapeutics, said they're eyeing about 1,000 patients a year, right? So 20 patients, that's just 2% of that figure. So just think about that. If it's 2% of that figure, and they're still looking for a $54 million in a full year consensus, then obviously they were never going to hit 1,000 patients the first year. Everybody knew that. But maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, they'll hit 5,000 patients or even more, right? With 110 treatment centers, I mean, you can definitely do more than 1,000 patients. I mean, just think about it, right? If you just do the basic math here, let's go through a basic math. And again, there's a lot of patients with sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia, right? It's not even, it's not even about the potential treatment, potential patients, right? It's obviously they want to go with severe cases at first, and that's what some of these numbers are referencing here in this paragraph. But if you do 1,000 patients and you divide it by, let's just assume all treatment centers come online, 9 patients per treatment center in a year, I think that's quite bearish. I think if you were to ask me, I mean, if you, again, we're going the assumption that all 110 treatment centers will be built over time. Let's say all of them there, if they build, if I was to, make a, a base case, not even a bull case, let's say you do about 20 patients per treatment center, then you got 2,200 patients, right? And 2,200 patients, if you guys recall, the treatment is about 2.3 million, I believe. So that's $5 billion just in revenue. Obviously, that's in revenue, right? That's not, and it's probably going to be more in some regions. It's not going to be 2.3 million US roughly, but obviously some regions going to be more, some regions may be less. So let's just round it up to $5 billion revenue. I mean, $5 billion revenue. I mean, you got to remember, CRISPR Therapeutics owns 40% of that commercial program. So, if you do 40% of, let's round it up again to 5 billion, that's $2 billion for CRISPR Therapeutics, and of course 3 billion for Vertex. That's a lot of money, guys. I mean, this, of course, this is revenue, so just mind you, this, expenses there's cost, and there's, of course, operating expenses, there's, just materials, and of course you have to pay these treatment centers, real estate, you got to pay the maintenance of those centers, of course the staff, the employees, and of course you got to pay all these expenses there. Think about all that comes into play when it comes to, medical. I mean, there's a reason why hospitals are, subsidized in most regions around the world by governments, right? Because these are really expensive to maintain, right? But they're necessary for the population. Now, obviously, treatment centers are not your regular hospital that you used to, but still, it's a treatment center. You need staff to upkeep it. There's a lot of expense. So clearly, they're not, CRISPR Therapeutics will not be, pocketing $2 billion, right? I don't know enough about, the profit margin and so on, but let's just presume that it was, let's just play, an example. Let's just say, let's not even do a bull case, not even let's do a bear case. Let's say the profit margin is only like 15%, which I really don't think it's going to be just 15%, because that's crazy to say that expenses will be 85%. I think that's crazy. But let's just say bear case, 15%. That's still $300 million profits for CRISPR Therapeutics. That's for one single year, for one single program, by only 40% of that program. Again, there's a lot of potential there. And the idea of this video is not necessarily to focus on this specific program, these figures, but rather, this company, CRISPR Therapeutics, is working on multiple programs, right? And then you have NTLA with 2-3 programs on their end. Successful programs, should I mention. You got Beam Therapeutics working on their things. You got Caribou working on their own things. Just think about the revenue there, and just think about when a company owns 100% of that program, like NTLA 2001 does. Just think about all these things, right, from these CRISPR companies, and there's just so much potential there. And again, it just gets me excited when I see these press releases, these news. Again, this is on Fierce Pharma, but it was released all over X.com. A bunch of people talked about it. Big news. I'm really happy for this. Again, a shout out to Vertex for putting where their money with their mouth is. I mean, these guys have triggered from all cylinders. I mean, they're firing from all cylinders. So shout out to CRISPR Therapeutics. Shout out to, of course, Vertex, the leadership from both of these companies. They've done something amazing so far. Everything's on track, but as an investor, as a humanitarian, as someone who's really someone who's really inspired by this technology, I think I just couldn't wait from 20 patient to 200 patient to 2,000 patient. I mean, That's gonna happen, guys. Just remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when we started making these videos 3 years ago, there was nothing approved. We barely had data. We had data on just dozens of people, for dozens of patients with over like 1 year data. Things look promising, but look at now, 3 years later, where we are, and just think about the next 3 years, right? Just think about these things, right? I think as an investor, you have to project these things. I think that's part of being a good investor. That's part of doing your due diligence, and of course, building your conviction and making sound decisions. But again, this is not financial advice. You guys do whatever you need to do. It's your money. It's your hard-earned money. So that said, do subscribe, guys. Subscriber count has been stalled. Do subscribe. Of course, that's normal. I haven't been making videos, but like this video, guys. It really does help the channel. Let's put these videos on home pages on people. Get these videos back on track, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and let me know what you guys think about this big press release in the comments below. Thank you. Have a beautiful Sunday evening. Thank you.